By the time you finish this video, I hope that I've convinced you of 3 things. Number 1, Xbox Game Pass is absolutely the best deal in the entire gaming industry and is a key selling point for the Xbox brand. Number 2, Microsoft honestly doesn't care how many Xbox Series X's it sells. And number 3, there is a hidden danger built into Game Pass that absolutely no one is talking about. And if the service is handled incorrectly, it has the potential to do massive damage on the entire video games industry. Welcome to NoFlex Gaming. My name is KendleFire. This is my series where I use my viewpoint to provide a unique, business-minded perspective on some of the decisions large companies make in the gaming industry. If you're interested in commentary and theories on the monetary side of gaming, consider hitting that subscribe button below. Alright, let's not waste any more time. Welcome to the business of gaming. Let's get into it. So it doesn't take much of a genius to understand how good of a deal Xbox Game Pass has become for the average gamer. There simply isn't anything like it anywhere else in the video games industry. In case you don't know, Xbox Game Pass is Microsoft's new subscription service that gives users access to hundreds of games for a fraction of what it will cost to buy those games one by one. The titles available on the service are, for the most part, pretty impressive. For a monthly price of $15 or less, subscribers gain access to a solid, rotating list of third-party titles such as Red Dead Redemption 2, Middle-earth: Shadow of War, and Batman: Arkham Knight. But Game Pass's real claim to fame is the Xbox exclusives. Every single game produced by Xbox Game Studios is released on Game Pass the exact same day that they are released in stores, meaning that the next Gears, the next Halo, the next Forza will be accessible to all users, regardless of device, at no additional charge. And unlike services like Google Stadia, Game Pass allows users to choose between streaming their games on Android devices or downloading directly to their console or PC. But if you're a gamer and you've been paying any sort of attention to the way Microsoft has been talking about Xbox over the past few years, then you already know all of this. Xbox heads like Phil Spencer have regularly emphasized how important Game Pass will be for the future of Xbox, so much that it has been a major focus of all the company's next-gen showcases so far this year. Now, first and foremost, I think it's important that we make something very clear right off the jump. I think Xbox Game Pass is great, but there is, in my opinion, a risky dark side to this subscription-based future that we might be led into if early pioneers aren't careful. Because it seems to me that the future of Xbox isn't just Games Pass, it's also games as a service. Let's back up a bit. Firstly, I think that we can all agree that today, Microsoft is probably not making much of a profit from Game Pass. The company recently announced that it has passed 10 million subscribers, but Halo Infinite alone has been rumored to cost nearly $500 million with a B to produce. Plus, who knows how many hundreds of millions of dollars that it's cost the company to make its recent studio acquisitions, to give away Game Pass memberships for $1, or the revenue that they are missing out from software sales by dropping their games on Game Pass day one. Now, of course, Microsoft is one of the biggest companies in the entire world, with literal billions of cash lying around in reserves. They can definitely afford to lose a bit of money on Game Pass in the short term if it means that it will bring them increased profit over time. But Microsoft is not a charity. It's their goal as a company to make money and deliver value for their shareholders. So what is their plan with Game Pass? What could be the goal here? In my opinion, it's pretty obvious. Xbox Game Pass only makes sense at scale. Microsoft needs people to subscribe to the service, and it needs to keep them subscribed for as long as possible. They have to do everything they can to get people in the door, and they have to do everything they can to keep people from leaving. That's what Phil Spencer meant when he said Game Pass's goal is to over-deliver on value and develop customer loyalty. This is why we see things like Xbox's commitment to cross-generational exclusives. There are already 50 million Xbox One console owners, and Microsoft doesn't want to risk losing them as potential Game Pass subscribers by making some of their games exclusive to their next-gen console. And then there is, of course, Microsoft's decision to make Game Pass streaming available to users on mobile phones. This opens the service up to billions of users, especially those outside of Western nations where console purchases can be ridiculously expensive. Now, none of this is bad per se. Game Pass opens gaming up to millions of people that might not have ever been able to experience the hobby in the past, and to me, there's nothing wrong with that. But I believe the real dark side of Game Pass is how the need for subscriber growth might have a major impact on the type of games the company pushes out over the next few years. One of the biggest complaints that people have had about the Xbox brand over the last several years has been the lack of story-based single-player games in their stable of exclusives, and I think Game Pass is the reason. Why would Microsoft spend millions of dollars on a game that I can download and play in 1 month, when they can make a long, open-world, games-as-a-service style game that takes many years for me to finish and will keep me subscribed to their service that entire time? The focus of Microsoft's game division going forward is not about selling video games or selling consoles. It's about selling subscriptions, and games with stories and characters don't really make sense with that business model. To Xbox, it no longer matters how many copies of a game they can sell. Now, they care about how many months that they can keep you subscribed to Game Pass. And the best way to do that is to keep you playing a game for months and years, instead of taking in a great story once, enjoying it, and moving on. And we can already see the way this strategy has impacted the games that Microsoft has decided to make. Out of all of the games that Microsoft has shown for the Xbox Series X, there only seems to be one that places a heavy emphasis on being a self-contained, single-player experience, and that's Hellblade. Even Halo, a game that is well known for having an extensive, story-based narrative, has been converted to an open-world game with content stretched over the course of a decade. As someone that has already gotten bored of the games-as-a-service model that we have gotten from games like Destiny, Anthem, Sea of Thieves, and everything else, I am concerned that single-player stories will no longer have a place in the Xbox ecosystem. But of course, it doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. Microsoft has a ton of new studios, and we only know what a small selection of them are working on. I just hope that the company chooses to create a Game Pass selection that is very diverse across all genres, and isn't limited to the open-world games that would make them the most money. Competition is important, and it's important that Microsoft continues to serve its role as Sony's main competitor in the console gaming space. But my fear is that Microsoft might be about to leave console gaming forever. Well, that's my video for today, guys. If you enjoy this sort of content, be sure to smash the like button and maybe consider subscribing as well. We have a ton more content just like this planned coming soon. Feel free to sound off in the comments section below as well. What do you think about my theory about Xbox's game selection in the coming months? What sort of impact do you think Game Pass will have on the industry, if any at all? Do you think services like Game Pass will be good for gaming? Let us know down below. Anyway, my name is KendleFire. Thanks for stopping by NoFlexGaming. This has been the business of gaming. See you next time.